I lost $386,000. No, but seriously, I lost $386,000. It hurts. It really hurts. I think about how much money I'll have lost over a lifetime because of the opportunity cost. I probably get, on average, at least a 30% return on my money. So if I compound that $386,000 over 5 years, it would have been $1.1 million. After 10 years, over $4 million. After 20 years, that compounds to 56 million buckaroos. And I kid you not, after 30 years of not getting 30% compound return on that $386,000, it would have been over $700 million. I could have bought this yacht. I could have bought this island. I could have bought 10 of these $70 million homes. I'm gonna tell you what happened and how to avoid the mistakes that I made so that you can buy that super yacht. Here's what happened. Back in September 2013, when I was still getting rocking and rolling in real estate, I kept finding good deals, but I didn't have the funds to purchase all of them. So what did I do? I was looking for investors who wanted to buy a great deal and have me do all the work. Let's call this person that was recommended Henry. Henry is an older gentleman in his 80s and has a net worth of approximately $40 million. A call was coordinated between us, and I was pitched as a young and hungry guy who was finding good real estate deals. It was discussed that I was looking for an investor that would put up the money to buy a property, and then after Henry got a 10% return on the money he invested, we would split the remaining profits 50-50. Henry and I met for coffee to vet each other out. He liked me and the fire that I had for real estate. He invited me to get lunch with his second, or maybe it was his third wife. He liked to brag about himself. I was pretty new to real estate at the time, and he could tell, which made him more cautious. I felt like I was spinning my wheels with this guy a bit. Knowing what I know now, this is an important step to build rapport, and you want to do it. My thinking at the time was that I would find a deal and then put everything in writing at that point. I figured I had to have an attorney draft something up to make it official, and I didn't want to spend the money before I even had a deal. Here's where I started to go wrong. You don't need to have an attorney draft something up right away because it costs a bunch. But at least have an email or Word document that spells out the terms. That can protect you later if things go awry. The time to do this can vary. I would recommend for your first deal, at the very latest, before you lose power over the situation. Definitely before you're non-contingent in escrow. And probably the right time is as you're writing the offer. That way, the investor is motivated because there's an actual deal there. A 7-unit deal popped up in the Mid-City Palms area of LA. It had 7,528 square feet. Built in 1966, it had a unit mix of all 2-bed and 3-bedroom floor plans. Spacious units, almost 1,000 square feet each. Completely rundown building that was going to be delivered all vacant. The list price was $1,495,000. The day it went on the market, I knew it was a good deal. So I called Henry and told him I had one. I discussed the details with him and told him we should pull the trigger. And that is what I did. I let the listing agent represent both sides so that the agent was motivated to get both sides of the commission. We had a signed contract that same day. However, here's where I made my second mistake. It was just Henry in the contract as the buyer. I didn't put my name in it with him. The property ended up closing escrow 20 days later for $1,470,000. Here's how I analyze this deal. But first, hit that like button and subscribe. I need you. I need you to get my back. Yeah, right there. Yeah, hit it. Now take a deep breath as we go through the numbers. The numbers are always crucial, so take the time to understand them with me. The units were big enough that I could change the floor plans from some 2 bedrooms and some 3-bedroom units to all 3-bedroom units. People will pay more for a 3-bedroom so long as the bedrooms aren't ridiculously small. My basic calculation is that if the units are 1,000 square feet, it can be a 3-bed. The next step is checking out rentometer.com or Zillow or Westside Rentals and doing a rental survey to get a sense of what the units will rent at. I gathered that the 3-bedroom upgraded units would rent at $3,000 each approximately. Follow with me now. So that is 7 units times $3,000 for each unit equals $21,000 gross rent per month. Multiply that by 12 for the year and you get $252,000. Then subtract expenses of 35% of that gross income, which includes property tax, insurance, maintenance, management, utilities. Those total expenses are $88,000. And so the net income is $163,000. What you should focus on is getting good at calculating these numbers. Next, you need to know what the cap rate or capitalization rate for the area is. This concept takes a little bit of time to wrap your head around. The simplest explanation is that it is a percentage return on a real estate investment. So if you buy a property for $1 million and your net income is $100,000, you're getting a 10% return on your money. It's as simple as that. It's just the return someone is going to get if they buy a property with no loan. If you buy a property in a harder to manage area or a riskier area, the cap rate is going to be higher because a buyer wants a higher return percentage for taking on that risk and extra headache. I know this is a lot to wrap your head around if you're new. The way you can tell what the cap rate is in an area is by looking at sales comparables. The cap rate for this area is approximately 5%. So you put in your calculator the net income of $163,000, you hit the divide button, and you put in 0.05, which is the 5%, and then hit enter. You get the value of what the property will be worth, $3,276,000. The upgrade and holding costs to get this dumpy old building to a beautiful new building I estimated to be about $700,000. That's a very conservative number. I have really learned to be conservative when estimating the expenses and other numbers over time. I calculated that $700,000 by having met with contractors and getting a general sense of cost to upgrade. And so, take the $3,276,000 and subtract some sales costs of about $213,000, then subtract the upgrade and holding costs of $700,000, then subtract what you paid for the property at $1,470,000, and you get a total profit of $893,000 in probably 6 months to a year. It's incredible. That's a total return of about 73%. So remember what I told you at the beginning. I was gonna get him a 10% return on his money. Henry would put in $1.2 million. So from the profit, he would first take $120,000. Then we would split the remaining $772,000, of which my cut should have been $386,000 goddamn dollars. Now, why didn't I get any of that money? The deal had been bought, the building was empty, I had met with 7 different contractors and got the renovation cost bid out, but I had nothing in writing yet. My name was not on the property deed. And then finally the spark that broke the camel's back happened. We had a disagreement about the floors of the units. He wanted to put hardwood. I thought laminate flooring would be more cost effective. A silly argument that let our tempers flare a bit. That night, I finally realized I needed something in writing besides blind trust that he would pay my share at the end of this. So I spent $1,200 with an attorney the next few days drafting the agreement. Then I called Henry and arranged a meeting at his place. And this is what happened. Come in. Eric, sit down. I'm glad you're meeting with me today. I put this document together so that we can kind of formalize our agreement. Out! I want you out! We're done! Just calm down. Let's just talk this over and sign this agreement. I want you out! Calm down. Out! All right. Jeez, man. Finish! So I left, and I tried everything to get him to return my calls. I tried to go through my friend, I consulted with an attorney, but I had nothing in writing. I was at his mercy. I probably should have sued him to see what would happen, but it would have cost me money I didn't have. It would have taken time and my mental energy. It wasn't worth it to me then. Me right now though, would have gone after him. I should have. I was a young kid and he would have settled with me, I think. I learned so much from this experience. It hardened me up. And we all need some difficult experiences to get tougher. We all have to make mistakes. This is just one story of one mistake that cost me a super yacht. If you enjoyed this video, please comment, subscribe, and like. Catch you later.